По тема на денот, вечерва за односите со САД, следните чекори кои треба да ги направи Македонија на патот кон Европската унија, борбата со корупцијата и црните листи, одговори побарав од сенаторот Крис Марфи. Еве ги неговите ставови.
Senator Murphy, I was just listening the hearing in the committee of the Senate last week, and I noticed that both and Mr. Scholle and Mr. Escobar have said that Macedonia is a strong ally of the United States and that we deserve to make the next step forward. What was your message to the Macedonian officials?
North Macedonia is a great friend of the United States. I'm so glad to be here. This is my third trip here. North Macedonia is one of the first calls we make when we need help. We have been partners together in the fight to preserve the sovereignty of Ukraine, to make sure Russia pays a price for its brutal aggression there. We have been partners together in making sure that our allies in Afghanistan were not left behind. We've been economic partners, more U.S. companies coming to North Macedonia than ever before. And now we are official security partners. Now North Macedonia has an explicit security guarantee from the United States of America. We don't give out those guarantees lightly as a nation. The next step, clearly, is for North Macedonia to join the European Union. And this is more critical than ever, as Russia is threatening Europe and the United States, as China is acting more aggressively all around the world. The U.S.-Europe relationship is more vital than it's ever been. And so if you're a U.S. partner in Europe, you need to be in the EU right now. It's just more important than ever. And so I'm here to make sure that the United States is doing everything possible to help North Macedonia into the European Union and encouraging leaders here to make the tough, difficult choices that are necessary in order to get into the European Union. I know that there's a question here as to whether North Macedonia will ever get into the European Union. Well, let me tell you, the crisis in Ukraine is an opportunity because the European Union now sees that it's under threat. It wants to bring Ukraine into the European Union, but it can't bring Ukraine into the European Union if it doesn't bring countries from the Balkans in as well. So there is a new open door. And this is the moment that North Macedonia needs to show that it is serious about joining the EU, because that door is open. If it doesn't show seriousness, if it takes a step backwards, that door may shut. And that's the message that I wanted to bring here today.
But, you know, there is a different opinion in the society here, especially when you listen to the opposition. They even say that maybe if Macedonia was still waiting to solve the problem with Greece, that maybe we will enter NATO without solving the problem because of the situation in Ukraine. Do you think that we were still standing with this name dispute? Maybe we will be the NATO member today with the constitutional name of Republic of Macedonia, as the opposition is saying?
Without the Prespa agreement, North Macedonia would not be a member of NATO today. It was a difficult concession that had to be made, but it was necessary in order to join NATO. And today, North Macedonia is part of the world's strongest military alliance. I want to make sure people understand what it means to be inside NATO. What that means is that if North Macedonia is ever threatened by a neighbor, by a foreign power, the United States of America, the world's most powerful military, will come to your defense. That's a big deal. But we made that commitment on NATO with the belief that North Macedonia was going to make similar moves and similar concessions necessary to get into the European Union. And so there will be some concerns in the United States if it looks as if North Macedonia is veering off the path to the European Union. We've seen North Macedonia make difficult choices, the Prespa agreement, in order to get into the world's preeminent military alliance. Now, North Macedonia has to make a concession, has to make a move forward in order to join probably the world's foremost economic alliance, the European Union.
Did you have the opportunity to speak with the opposition here?
I did. I did. I had a frank conversation with the opposition. I told them that I really worried about the impact on the U.S.-North Macedonia relationship if this constitutional amendment is refused. And I also told them that there isn't a better deal. For the opposition to believe that after the election, Bulgaria or the European Union is going to offer something different is a fiction. And so I understand that it is hard to amend your constitution. We've done it many times in order to survive as a nation. But this is the best and only route to get into the European Union. And to suggest that there's some better arrangement or better offer that will be on the table, I just think is likely not true.
What was the answer?
Well, I understand that everyone wants to hope that things will be different. I think in this case, it's just that hope.
Yes, Senator, but we all know that we still have problems in the country, especially with the fight against the corruption and the rule of law. What is your advice? Is there any solution for this, fast solution for this?
Well, the solution to corruption problems and rule of law problems, that's a decision that the people of this country need to make, right? You've got to elect leaders that are laser-like focused on rooting out corruption. But the European Union can help. The staying on the path to the European Union, that creates pressure to reform the judiciary, to clean up corruption. It brings resources from the European Union to help with those fights. If at the end of this year, the impression is that North Macedonia is not moving quickly to the European Union, then I think a lot of the pressure is removed to keep fighting corruption, and there are probably less resources from the European Union in that effort.
We are waiting for months for this famous sanction list from the United States. Can this help somehow with the corruption?
I mean, ultimately, the question of fighting corruption is a question for the people of North Macedonia. The United States, does use our sanctions to call out the worst actors, but we can't prompt systemic reform. All we can do is use our sanctions to try to shed light on those that are engaged in the worst abuses. But the daily corruption that plagues many countries in this region, having to, pay to get a healthcare procedure, or a better education for your child, or a government permit, the United States can't fix that with sanctions. That's ultimately got to be the decision of governments.
Very important for the end. What is your message for the people in Macedonia?
Well, I just think this relationship between the United States and North Macedonia is stronger than ever. Once you're a NATO partner, you are tied to the United States in new and important ways. But we've got to maintain that strong connection. If this constitutional amendment is not approved, there will be a lot of people in the United States who are going to question whether North Macedonia is still committed to that relationship with the United States and our most important partners in Europe. There is not a better deal coming. This is the best deal. This is the moment to raise your hand and say to the world, we want to be with the United States. We want to be with Europe. We know the economic growth and the jobs and the investment that come with that alliance with Europe and the United States. My message is, let's get this constitutional amendment done. I certainly can't substitute my judgment for the people here. It's their decision to make, but I firmly believe that this is the best thing to strengthen the relationship between the United States and the people of this country.
Senator, thank you very much for